What is it? Everybody, where we at? We
Yeah.
here.
They want to know where we at, man, which is
We
good,
here.
man.
Team No Sleep in the building. Oh my goodness. What it do, ladies? Let me act like I know what in the world is going on. We have people waiting for us to get it going. See, you got dogs barking in the
Dogs
background, and
barking,
so
man. Everybody.
everybody excited. Everybody excited. Montel, talk to
Yes,
him, brother.
sir.
How you doing?
Man, blessed, man. Cannot complain at all, man. Just thank you for everything, man. I just can't thank God for all the blessings in my life, man, and just
Amen.
ready for take on whatever challenges that come our way. But as far as our platform is concerned, I'm glad we're growing. I'm glad people like what we're saying, and we just continue to take it to the next level.
We just gonna keep doing what it is that we do, man. So let's listen. We didn't go last week, but we're gonna try to make up for it this week. In
Yes,
terms of
sir.
we had a couple of shows or a couple of topics that we're gonna reach back out and talk on. But we have to start with what's most pressing and kind of what's going on in the news this week. Where you want to start? Let me ask you. You want to start with the high school, or you want to talk? You want to
I
talk?
mean, we can talk about the ugly.
Which way
Let's
you
talk
want to
about the
go?
ugly first. Let's talk about the ugly first. Yeah, let's talk about
Well,
the high
they
school.
both kind of ugly. They both kind of ugly. But
But
listen,
the high school one's
this one
ugly.
this one is real
This
ugly. This one is
yeah.
real ugly. So shouts out to everybody. I'll get to the hellos and everything in a minute, but we want to make sure we get going here. High school track and field event just recently happened. Some ladies was out there running. I might actually show the video because you got to see
Yep.
the video to kind of understand what was jumping off. Lady was running around on the second leg. Here's an image of it right here. As they were running, one of the opponents, as they were turning the corner, struck her opponent in the head with the baton. Not once, not twice, but it looked like 3 or 4 times before she ended up just giving out to hurt and injury. Come to
Before we get
find
in
out,
trouble, it's allegedly because she's fighting it. She said it didn't
but see,
happen with bullshit.
the word allegedly, I don't like that word because I got
Okay.
video. I got video. You got video.
Yeah, yeah.
Hit her in the head multiple times. The young girl ended up having a concussion.
Hmm.
Problem is also is that the one who did the striking with the baton hasn't come out and apologized, and neither has her coach. She don't think she did anything wrong. Let me find the video. Hold on. Let's go ahead and roll this video here, folks. Here's the meat. We coming around the corner. Look at this mess right here. One, two, three, 3 or 4 hits across the head. One,
One, two,
two.
three.
Young girl ended up having a concussion. Obviously, couldn't complete and finish the race after getting smacked in the head by an opponent. Her opponent is saying that she was just in the motion of trying to pass her baton to her teammate. That ain't true.
No, I don't see that. And she
Where we
said she
at,
was
man?
losing her balance. So
Let's
that
talk
was
about this. Let's talk about because there's a
yeah,
whole
yeah,
lot of avenues to go into. Let's talk about this.
yeah. First, watching the video, it looks obvious that she hit her in the head. Right? She
Mm-hmm.
assaulted the lady during. She basically assaulted her during a meet. Um, according to the person, the person that's being accused, she said she's kind of her story is contradictory. She said she was passing the baton to her teammate, and she also said she was stopped. She was doing that to stop from losing her balance.
Come
You
on.
know, losing her balance. So it swung, and that there's a different video that we haven't seen yet at a different angle to show she didn't strike her. All of that I believe is not true. All I believe is not true at all. So, with that being said, I mean, she just needs to own it. You know what I mean? Really
What
own
what
it.
what other angle? Hold on. I mean, I'm gonna show it again. I'm gonna zoom it.
I don't. I can't. I could possibly can't tell you. I'm regurgitating what she said.
That
Like,
don't make
where's
sense,
her
man.
opponent she's passing the baton to? That's the one thing. I don't even see nobody that she can get a baton to at that point. Um, losing the balance, yeah, but I can't go with that one either by hitting somebody in the back of the head 3 times from losing your balance. Um, and to me, we got a bigger problem. The fact that the person's not taking accountability, that's
Yep.
one. And number two, where are we going now that you get upset or you're getting beat, you're gonna assault somebody? Like, where is the punishment for this kind of situation? Me personally, she should be suspended for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Well, they're talking about pressing criminal charges, right?
Yep.
Assault charges on this, and rightfully so. The mom, the parents, and the girl that was assaulted, talking about criminal charges. But again, yeah, say you're sorry. And the coach, come on, if you a coach of kids, aspiring athletes, and you don't even come up and say something after the match, after the meet, say, hey, you all right? This didn't look like it worked out right. This wasn't the thing to do. I, as a coach, I would have came up to the other team and said something. And
Well, I
I'm
think
sure you would have too, because you've been on, right? You've been on the sidelines too.
yeah,
You're a
yeah. If
coach.
I'm a coach, you're immediately suspended.
Hmm.
Immediately. That means
Yeah,
right there at that moment you're suspended from the team. Number two, when we get back, I'll discuss with my AD. Are we kicking that person off the team?
yeah. Because you don't represent the squad that way.
At this point, the team is bigger than you.
Mm.
Now, I'll give you a chance to explain your story and tell me what was going on, but that doesn't negate the fact that what you did. Just like manslaughter. Just because you didn't mean to do it, you did it, there's still some accountability for it.
Make
You
it
have to
plain,
deal
brother.
with it.
Make it plain.
So she has to deal with accountability that you did something wrong and need to be punished for it. I hate the fact that I'm from my understanding, she's a pretty good track star. I'm pretty sure scholarships are coming her way. But right now, if I was any college recruiter, I wouldn't touch her. I wouldn't touch her just on the fact of her actions and the fact that you don't take any accountability for it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
she could have came out and said, you know what, I made a mistake. I got frustrated in the moment. I wanted her to get out of my way, and I struck her. I didn't mean to strike her that many times. I kind of just lost control, and I take full accountability for it. And I'm sorry. We all would have been like, damn. You know what?
Yeah.
At that point, there's no story, right? We wouldn't even be talking about this. We'd
Truth,
be just
truth.
mentioning it, and it'd be going away.
Because the relay race, everyone's close anyway. I mean, if you don't know track and field, I mean, people are bumping up on each other all the time anyway,
Yes.
and that's just a part of the sport, and you got to know how to maneuver in and out of that. But come on now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Even at the ripe age of 17, 16, 17-year-old, you need to take accountability for your actions. So now, with denial, not working out, not taking accountability, not apologizing to this young girl, not apologizing to the other team, not apologizing to your team, now she's going to run herself in a bunch of legal issues. Because let's be honest with you, now there's money involved. Everybody want to interview the girl that got hurt. They want to interview the parents, what they want to do, all this stuff. Now they say, "Oh, we'll offer you 10,000 to do this interview for us on TV." So now there's money involved, and then when there's money involved, people are gonna start to maneuver the way they
Yep.
do to be able to maximize the moment to get money. I hate to say it, it's like that, but it is. We're in that era now. So the person that's being assaulted and those parents are gonna be like, "Yeah, we're gonna press charges." Guess what? That means we're gonna do more interviews. We're gonna talk about the situation over and over again, and we're gonna maximize every dollar we can get, regardless if I forgive her or not. Well, she could have ended it in the beginning by taking accountability.
Kayla Tucker's
So,
father said the cops are looking into the situation to confirm the family has filed a protective order against her daughter's opponent.
absolutely.
What would you do if you were Kaylin Tucker's father? If you were Keith Tucker and you saw
Um,
somebody, because listen, there's been many a times when my kids have been in sports too, and I've been in the stands and I've seen a play probably didn't go right, or I've thought about being that parent that would run out there on the field. I've thought
mhm.
about it, but I wouldn't do it. But this right here, someone is beating your child.
Yeah.
I want to take it into a whole different direction. I want to put the emotion in it. I want to go less
Um,
logical.
if I'm in it, one, I'm pissed. I'm
Hmm.
upset. And I'm mad, but see, I'm different, dude. I'm mad at it different ways. I'm mad the one you assault, you hit my daughter, and then I'm pissed that my daughter didn't fire back on you
Okay. Yeah,
and
yeah.
defend
I hear
herself.
you.
I'm pissed in both of those avenues. Um, at that point when my daughter falls and now she has a concussion, now to me, all I see is red. So now I'm not going after you physically, but I'm gonna go after you in any way I can to make sure that young lady holds herself accountable for doing that to my daughter.
Yes.
And the fact of the matter, we're in the social media age, so it's not just it just happens in that local town that people know about it. It's
Mm.
global now. So my daughter's in a situation where her mental health and all that comes into play. I don't know anything about mental health until now. Now we're in this day and age of talking about now we're in the mental health stage because she has to deal with what happened to her on social media and millions of people have seen it. So she'll always be scrutinized, right? Bottom line. Now, I could try to sue those parents, but those parents probably ain't got that much money to sue about.
Let's
So
be
I
real.
gotta capitalize off the way the media is portraying her and capitalize off of interviews and everything to make sure, one, she's monetary compensated for this embarrassment. That's the way I would think about it. And do I have anything to say to those other parents? No, not at this point, because she had plenty ample time. Because she's been on TV talking about it.
Yes, she has.
She should have
Yeah.
been on TV apologizing about it.
Been on TV crying and doing. Lord
Right.
have mercy.
So, and I listened to her story. What she's saying, it doesn't make sense. And let's flip the script. Let's say I'm that parent,
Yeah.
right? I'm the parent of the person that assaulted him. One, I'm deeply apologetic for what
Mm-hmm.
happened, and two, I'm like, we are going to take accountability for it. I'm gonna let us control the narrative by apologizing, trying to see if I can get those two ladies to sit down with each other and talk to each other. Let her apologize in person. Make her have a written statement apology, to the school, to the young lady, to the opponents we face, to the track CIF or whatever that area is, Virginia CIF kind of component, their high school thing. I would apologize for them, and I would make a public statement on social media talking about how sorry I am about what happened. I shouldn't have did it. I should take Shakari Carter's role.
Yeah.
Hold up to what you did. She smoked weed before her grandmother passed away, and I tested positive. Yeah, so ban me for a year, and I'm gonna still get down with it. Take accountability. Yes, I didn't mean to do it. When I struck her, I didn't even realize I struck her that many times. I was in a fit of rage because she was in, all that kind of stuff you can bring up and just say, man, I'm taking full responsibility. I saw the tape and I'm appalled.
Yeah.
I hate myself for doing that. That's the way you would approach. That's the way I would have my daughter approach it, and us as a family would approach it. And me as a parent, I'd probably like, I don't think, I think you better get ready for the worst because you're gonna be suspended for the year. So we better figure out and get yourself working out, and maybe you can appeal to come back next year.
Elia Everett, that's her on the screen right there, crying when she was doing her interview. Says she's getting death threats. Racial slurs are being thrown at her. She doesn't understand why.
Bro,
There's a
who
and brother. I'm reading the news. I'm
That's
reading
over.
the.
I heard the same thing. I think that's super over exaggerated. Who's threatening to kill you over a high school track meet? That's not even the finals.
You see what I'm saying?
So no one's threatening you except maybe one of her cousins or family members might say, "I'm gonna whoop your tail when I see you because you did
Mm-hmm.
that to my cousin." Maybe one of those, or one of her friends at the other school. But you ain't getting all these massive death threats and all these things coming at you, except from the opposing school or people that are associated probably with the victim. That's probably who you're getting it from. My thing is, if you would have held accountability from the jump, none of that would be happening. You would minimize everything that's going on. But when you're in denial, man, when it's on film, there's a big problem, and there's a bigger problem with our parents by accepting that. In my
Yeah,
opinion,
that's. I think that's where you and I at least that's where I'm kind of resonating with it right there because again, we active parents love competition and want them to do that, want them to compete, want them to always want to try to win when they're out there competing, but do it the right way. And someone has to step up. Someone has not stepped up yet to say, my God, this was wrong. She over here crying on TV talking about she getting death threats and being receiving end of racial slurs after the clip went viral. Yeah, the clip went viral because you smacked the girl in her head multiple times.
yeah.
uh
I mean, what did she expect, man? That's the part I don't understand. Like, what reaction did you expect? Oh, cool, you hit her in the head 3 times. Is that what she wanted? I'm not quite sure what response she thought she was going to get from people. And I'm sure, like I said, she should automatically be suspended from it. It wouldn't even be a hesitation on Emma's part. You're suspended from the team.
And the reason we're still
Delete.
talking about it is because I don't think that has happened. Right. And so
Yeah,
again,
yeah, yeah.
that's why we're still
Like
talking about it.
no one's taking accountability. The school's not taking accountability because the coach is trying to defend her. No, she's suspended. If I'm the AD, I don't care how much you like her. She's suspended. That is not what we. That is not what we do here at this high school. Period. And remember, we're not even talking. This is high school we're talking about.
It's high
So if you
school,
got
man.
think about this. If you got anger management like that, or you got anger issues like that in high school, what are you gonna be as you grow up? Because it only gets worse.
When you try to get out there and messing with real folks, when you get on the job, what you going? Well, I've thought about it a couple of times, hitting, but you can't do it,
You
and
can't
you
do it.
actually I'm gonna show the video again. I'm gonna show the Kevin Cox. What's happening? He's saying, does media really pay for interviews? I don't feel like they are paying out for stories like this. Again, I don't think they paid her. It was on a local ABC affiliate where she did that
I'm not talking
TV
about her
interview.
getting paid. I'm talking about the victim's gonna get paid.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
When she tells her story,
Oh yeah. That's
she's
gonna
gonna
be.
get paid. I guarantee you somebody's gonna pay her because she hasn't said a word yet. Not one. So she's letting all this build up. Everybody poke their holes in it. And as soon as she has an exclusive talk, I guarantee you, I wouldn't doubt if we see her on the Good Morning America segment, the victim.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, her parents have said, hey, she's not going to talk because she's recovering from these injuries and everything that's going on with this. I guarantee you there's going to be one media outlet that pays her, whether it be a national media outlet or an internet media outlet, because they're going to be the first one to get her story, her side of the story. And that's always worth money.
Can't make it up, man. It's not. It's
Yeah.
not your word against mine, our word against yours. This is a HD video that everyone in the stadium was filming. So
Yeah.
all the angles show the exact same thing. That's just sad, man. It's
And what's crazy, this has been on, and I've seen it on 4 national sports shows already,
yep.
this clip. 4 national sports shows. So the fact that it's gone viral, it's gone viral. It's going where it's getting some traction on some stages that are very important, like the ESPNs and the Fox Sports of the
Mm-hmm.
worlds and all them. Somebody's going to pay for that interview, Kevin. I know they're going to pay for it because, to be honest with you, if we had the money to break the story, we would pay for it.
Listen, we fly her from wherever she was, from Virginia all the way over here. I tell you what,
Yeah,
but
and had it
we'll
because
just follow it.
they know what's going to happen. So that would be my only disagreement with that.
That's crazy, man. All right, man. So there we go. That's how we start. And listen, we see everybody coming in from all the local networks. Don't be afraid to chime in with the conversation. You know how we do. Social impact of sport, and I think that was a perfect show to start. A perfect story to start talking about social impact. Now, see, no pun intended on that. So there I go again. I gotta get my puns right. Goodness gracious.
You're all good, man. We know what you mean. We know
You
what you
know,
mean. Exactly.
y'all. You know where my heart is. Pray. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. Listen, let's. You mentioned ESPN. Let's keep talking ESPN.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about one of my least favorite individuals. But we're gonna talk about it
Who
anyway.
just got paid $100
That's
million?
so I
Woo.
really don't like him. I really don't like him. Right? He need to come up with some of those millions and spread them
Yeah.
around to the other minority digital content creators. But Stephen A. Smith was at a game not too long ago, Laker game. Stephen A.
Mhm.
Smith has said a lot about Bronny James. He said a lot about everybody. Right?
Yeah.
He's talked about LeBron and all kind of yays or nays, and I don't care about him. I don't care about your thoughts of LeBron, right, as a player. I don't care if you think Kobe, Michael. It's definitely Michael, but it is the greatest. But Stephen A. has definitely said his thing. But when it comes to his son, LeBron's son, Bronny James, his play, from my perspective as well, third person, fourth person looking in, Bronny's not ready. Bronny's not ready for the NBA, right? He needs to stay down there in the G League, mature, understand the game, understand his body, do that thing because he's out there and he's got a whole bunch of pressure. He's got the pressure of being the son of LeBron James. So folks think just like Michael Jordan's son, he gonna come in and he gonna have double doubles every night. He gonna be ESPN top 10. Bronny's not that. However, you can't go talking about the man's son like that when you know you keep picking at that scab, it's gonna bother you. It's gonna bother you. So long answer short here, LeBron confronted Stephen A at a game recently and said, "Listen, man, keep my son's name out your mouth. Stop talking about my son. Here's here's the confrontation right here. We don't have the audio of it because there's just a man to man conversation, one way conversation. How do you feel about in the middle? Because this wasn't even at the end of the game. This was in the middle of the game. One, how do you feel about LeBron approaching Stephen A? How do you feel about even that conversation happening and that conversation happening in public with?
I'll go reverse from back.
with
Having it in public,
80,000
LeBron's
cameras, with 80,000
yes.
cameras watching, right? So again, how do you feel about the conversation? How do you feel about it happening in public? And let me get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, having it in public, LeBron's wrong on that one. I think
Mm,
LeBron should have had his people tell him to meet him in the back and had that conversation all the way out the way they wanted to have it, instead of doing it in the public. I think let's just it's bad optics for LeBron at that point.
hmm
Period. Not that he did anything bad, but that LeBron does. But I mean, saying that's bad optics for him to be able to have that conversation like that in front of Stephen A. Smith and the surrounding people, whoever was there. For them to hear that and for somebody to film it. That's just if we're gonna say there's a blemish on LeBron, that's gonna be one of his blemishes he had
Yeah.
in the career to do that. Having the conversation, period, I don't have a problem with that at all. You defend yours. You
Yes.
know, your kid, you can have that conversation with him. You're gonna keep scrutinizing my son. I got a problem with it. We're gonna talk. We're gonna have a conversation about it. Because a lot of the comments are unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? It's for likes, Twitter likes, and people to
hmm
watch ESPN and to have stories. You're making up. Not saying you're making up narratives, but you're adding narratives that unnecessarily don't have to be there. Is is Bronny a great NBA player? No, he's. You got to think he's a 19-year-old kid playing in that league. 19, 20-year-old. He only played 1 year of college. So he
Yeah.
has a lot of development to do. But does he show flashes he can play in the league? Absolutely. Is he killing the G League? Yeah, he's holding his own in the G League like most kids do, like most kids with talent do at that level. I thought him a tweener. I think he's gonna be a very, very good G League player right now, the way he continues. And he's just not quite ready for the NBA. And
Yeah.
most of it I think is because the pressure. He's playing for the same team as his dad is, who's
That's tough right
arguably
there.
arguably the GOAT.
Yeah,
If
that's tough.
LeBron, if Bronny was playing on another team, I don't think he'd have as many problems
Yeah.
at all. But the fact that you're playing with the team that your dad's on, the fact that you're in LA, a huge market, the fact that all the press is always talking about Bronny and LeBron playing together and doing all these things, I think he has all that added pressure to try to be successful amongst his dad's team, and he's not. Me personally, I would try to have him just hone in on defense. Be a defensive stopper right now.
Mm.
Just give us all you got on defense, and the rest will come. If he can do that, he's gonna be perfectly fine. But I mean, let's be honest and be real. I don't feel sorry for Bronny. Bronny signed a $2 million contract.
Right. Ronnie gonna be okay? Okay. Ronnie gonna
Yeah,
be all
he
right.
getting $2 million a year. Homie, I ain't feel bad at all. Take that criticism on the chin and knock it on out. And he got a 3 year guarantee. He walking over with $6 million to play basketball.
And he don't
Bro,
have to.
it ain't that. To me, it ain't that. It's serious, but we got to really dial it down sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
But Stephen A. Smith, like I said, is and ESPN and all these other ones are wrong for trying to create more narrative around the deficiency of Bronny's game instead of bigging him up. And number two, Bron is wrong for trying to address it in public. I think that's some conversations you need to have behind the scenes. And then LeBron could have been like, I ain't messing with you no more, and say what he had to say and keep it pushing. I think Stephen A. Smith is actually lucky he did it in public, because if they would have been in the background and Stephen A. would
Man,
respond,
there'd
it
have
might have
been
been
some
some
furniture
hands thrown.
moving.
Yeah, yeah.
There'd have
So
been.
so it might have been good that he did do it. You know what I'm saying? Did it in public. So that part, but I just think LeBron, man, you didn't carry yourself so great for these last 20 years in the league, and doing so good, and always had a great relationship with the media, and always been that guy that's always been and then to have this one moment is just the one blemish on his record. That's all.
Yeah, and because you think about it, because so many people look and scrutinize every single thing that he does, and just because who he is, where he is, what he's done, what he's probably still going to do, all of those things. Um, I'm loving our perspective, and folks continue to give yours as well in the comments. We have our guest that has joined, so we're gonna bring him on. Perfect timing, so this man could probably talk about it as well. Chris Williams, talk to us, man. What it do? What it do? Where you been, boy? CP time. Okay. I'm not going. I'm, I get there when I get there. Boy, I ain't mad at you though, not a little bit. But all right, you know the
Break break.
story.
First of all, you guys have this. I was listening. I'm listening to how y'all broke this down, and
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know what else to add, man. I think, to me, at the end of the day, I get it. Maybe that's, you just finally saw him for the first time, and you
Mhm.
just kind of clicked, right? Like it just, I get it. But I also think about tact, right? And I think about the fact that, you know, I don't know, as black men, I think sometimes we gotta, even if we in a position, we still can't make another
Mm-hmm.
person in position look bad,
Yeah.
because now the
Let's
conversation
talk
is
about
less
that. Let's
about
talk about it. I like that.
their discussion, and it's about everybody's piling on about the two black men arguing on the
Mm-hmm.
sideline, which it wasn't an argument, but that's the part of it that I don't like right now. And I'm not, and obviously, I don't think LeBron that was his intention, right? I think it was just, I'm at the game. Oh, he right there. Oh, we about to talk about this, right? Like, I think he just in the moment, right? That probably was something that was building up, but unfortunately, I think that's the only part, is just that now everybody
Yeah.
else is looking like, ooh, it's two black men going at it on the sideline, and they
Yeah.
both powerful. I don't like
Well,
that.
let's talk about like that optics right there. That one optic right there. We just fed in the stereotype that they get on us. So think about this. We got two millionaires with the optic of their two angry millionaires having a discussion, a heated discussion on the sideline.
Wait a minute,
What does that resonate to?
LeBron a
Yeah,
billionaire. LeBron a
yeah.
billionaire.
Well, how does that resonate? A billionaire and a 100 millionaire arguing or having a heated conversation on the sideline. How does that resonate when a high school kid wants to talk to his coach or talk to a media person?
Mm,
People
mm.
emulate LeBron all day, every day. So that's why I say it's a blemish. That one optic, which has gotten millions of views already, that shows this kid that wants to be like LeBron or thinks he's LeBron or doing anything. He may think he has the free will to do the same thing to somebody that wrote a bad story about them in the local newspaper, or somebody that made a bad comment about him on a local news station or something like that. We gotta, us as black, we already gotta tread lightly as it is, because
Yes,
we can't
sir.
give out the wrong narrative. So this right here, this blemish does make me concerned, because the fact that he blew up on Stephen, it could have been easy. Rich, tell him I want to talk to him inside the locker room. You think Stephen A. Smith ain't gonna go back there and go talk to him? Yeah, he will. So I think he could have just handled that a little bit more, like you said, tactful, and been a little more
Yeah,
strategic. We can't, he's been so great not letting his emotions get to him. This one time he let
that's
his
right.
emotions get to him.
Yeah, and I would say, I think the thing to think about too is like, all right, one, we're not in that position. Our life ain't on the limelight every time we sneeze, right?
Yep.
I will say though, while our life might not be in the public limelight all the time, as a black man, it doesn't matter if it's LeBron James, Montel, James Hicks, whoever. The moment we do something, that's what's on the line. It's the next black man that comes in the door. It's the next black athlete who has some power. It's the next. And now, granted, is that right? No, I don't think that's fair. 1 second. But unfortunately, that's the world that we live in now. And I think as the athlete controls more of their narrative, their story, as we have more black athletes that get to participate in nepotism, who get to put their kids in position of
Yeah.
power, as we get the opportunity to make it so that you can truly watch somebody make their kid a prominent figurehead for something.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only part that I get concerned about, because it's already hard enough. Heck, LeBron's the only person, well, the first person to do it in this regard.
Yeah.
Mm, mm-hmm.
You got Doc Rivers with
Yeah.
Austin Rivers.
But
You got
but
you've had other players who've done things, but not to this level. So
but my
unfortunately, I don't like it, just because everything that he gonna do is scrutinized anyway. But
well
now Bronny James got the rest of the G League now, and granted, I'm thank God he is busting behind in the G League. I'm glad of that. That part I'm happy about.
Mhm.
But if he wasn't, but the problem is now it's like every G Leaguer every night is gonna be gunning for his neck, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe he,
Yeah.
maybe that helps him with the tough skin and all of that.
Yeah.
But I just that's the only part I don't like.
Well, I'm gonna look at it from another standpoint. So LeBron, this is the narrative. LeBron checked Stephen A. Smith.
Checked
That's
him
the
hard
narrative.
in front of
He
everybody.
checked Stephen A. Smith. So the fact that we have to watch, whether you like him or not, an established businessman outside of sport. He's not the sports guy. He's not the player. He's the guy that's reporting on sports that's been able to make $100 million at his craft, highest paid sports announcer ever.
Don't make no sense to me.
He's carving away, but he's carving away for African American journalists to get into the sports game, regardless if you like it or not. He's carved away for Shannon Sharp to be a hundred millionaire with his podcast.
No, you're right there. You're true, right?
So he's opening up doors, and the fact that we have to have a billionaire try to check 100 millionaire over maybe some scrutiny where he could have handled it behind closed doors, we got to learn better. You think somebody checking is Steve Jobs checking Bill Gates in front of everybody? Hell no.
Make it plain.
They do it behind closed doors.
Yeah.
So why are we doing it in public? I'm gonna say it was just a mistake on LeBron. Maybe he just wasn't thinking, but we got to be careful with this narrative because our kids are so impressionable. They go with what the hot thing or who the hot athlete is and what they do, and they can emulate it. So the fact of the matter that he did this in public, I think other kids think they can do that as well, or take a page from that book and go for it. And that's wrong because there's a lot outside playing sports. There's a whole other world that people carving their way in. Stephen A. has carved himself in there. I don't like him that much at all. I don't agree with a lot of things he says. But the one thing I do say, man, he's opened up some doors for a lot of freaking people, especially people of color and women.
Yeah.
Molly Quorum wouldn't be anything without Stephen A. Smith. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Truth.
So we got to give props on that side. And the fact that
he's one of the first platforms where you have a dedicated Wednesday and it's all women.
Yeah.
Sometimes he don't even show up during the season.
Yep.
It's on Wednesday, it's all women. Yep. And so you're right. He's definitely opened some doors. Let me ask y'all this though. What about Stephen A.'s response?
That's exactly where we was going to go.
I
was going to go into that. Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about.
You want to go first, James? Or you want me to go?
Well, I want to do one thing real quick because listen, Mama in the building and Mama done called him out. Mama done said, "Oh, is that the brother that did show up last week?" So
that would be me. I raised my right hand.
There it is.
So all me.
We're gonna leave it at that.
Right.
We're gonna leave it at that.
That's when it was me.
Dr. Stone is in the building, so yeah, everybody's coming here for this conversation. Mr. Davis is asking some great questions as well. So the way Stephen A. responded to me seems kind of. I think the whole thing was weak. I think both sides were weak. I think LeBron approaching him in the middle of the game, coming at him, and hey brother, on some street stuff. When you were a billionaire to a millionaire, that was wrong too. Like Montel was saying, let's talk after the game. Let's talk before the game. Let me get Maverick Carter and your folks together. Let's meet somewhere after the game for some wine, and let me talk to you man to man. But then Stephen A. came on and said the whole thing was weak, and then I'm paraphrasing. LeBron is soft for doing this to me. I'm only talking about his son from a professional perspective. I don't like the way that. I don't like the tone. I don't like I don't like Stephen A.'s tone when it came out about this because I saw the interview and Stephen A. was like, I wish LeBron had did something. If I had started moving and we had got the moving furniture out there, it wouldn't have looked good. But I work for Walt Disney and my contract just got announced. So he was throwing all that out there and acting like he wished FAFO, right? I'm trying to find out kind of thing. So I don't think that Stephen A. represented himself well for someone who just 2 days ago signed a $100 million contract. Yeah, he got approached by someone else, and then he goes on another podcast and says, "Bron should have known better than to come at me. Don't he know who I am?" I just got that feeling from him. So go ahead, y'all. Let me let y'all chime in.
So I think Stephen A. looks at himself like he is the GOAT of sportscasting. So when a GOAT is going at another GOAT,
come on.
Now you have that. Now you have the argument. Me personally, Stephen A.'s response, I thought it started off well what he was saying, and then it went a whole different direction because it felt like the more he started talking about it, the more he got angry. you know,
Yes.
and he was internalizing kind of what happened because in reality he felt like he got punked. Just keep it real. That's what he felt by watching the video. So he's saying, that LeBron should have came at me this way or this, that, and all those different things. I think he should have kept it professional within his profession. Listen, I apologize for saying anything bad about Bronny, but I am just talking about his basketball game. Right now, it doesn't fit with the NBA, in my opinion. Period. LeBron can hate me if he wants to. I'm just telling the honest truth.
I'm
And
a
I
color
stand by what I
commentator. I'm a
say.
color analyst, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's what I do. I'm here to
Yeah.
every time
Yeah.
Stephen A. talk, he yelling and screaming. That's what he does. All right.
And the fact of the matter, I got mad because Stephen A. didn't stand by his words. And so he didn't say that. He said it in a general way. But he
Yeah.
said, look, I stand by my critique of
Yeah.
Bronny. I stand by what I say. And I'm not going to back down to LeBron or anybody else. I wanted that conversation him to say. Because I would have said, okay, fine. He understands. Okay, I just know. And I know from this fact, I'm not going to interview LeBron anymore. We're just going to be people that we just don't like each other because he doesn't like my honest criticism of his son's game.
Mm-hmm.
Period. And from now on, I'll respect his wishes. I won't say anything about Bronny. Period. I'll let other I said, and I would elaborate. It's
And how long
funny
you think
you're
that's
going to
going to
come after
last?
me, and you didn't come after all these other people that talk bad about Bronny.
How long you think that's
But yeah,
going to
you're going to
last?
come up to me in the middle of a Laker game and have this conversation with me when you could have easily just tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, I need to holler at you after the game. I need to talk to you." Because you got the biggest platform and you saying this about my son, I don't like it. That's a good conversation you have in the background. You don't have to have that in front of everybody else. But the fact that you had it in front of everybody else and you embarrassed me, who I'm the goat of my realm, okay, now we have a problem. And I think that's what started to resonate the more he started talking about it. That's the way I felt about it. Me personally, like I said, the one blemish on LeBron, Stephen A. kind of starts stuff everywhere he goes, but that's part of his job, so I get it. But the fact of the matter, I get pissed because two established, well-respected African American male that are in front of the spotlight have to show that kind of transaction with each other. That's not cool.
So impressionable to our youth too. So
Yes.
yeah. Chris, your thoughts, man?
I think the first thing is that my initial reaction when I saw him respond on First Take was I actually did like what he said. He actually did mention that he wasn't hearing from the athlete. I'm listening to the father.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
thought, wow, that's a very mature way to articulate the moment, because if you put a cobra and a python in a ditch and see who's gonna come out, they gonna fight to the death.
Say that
Right? Like
again.
it's not a so in my mind it was like it's two alpha males who ended up in a situation. And wow, nothing else in the crazy or nefarious happened. And honestly, I feel like this is like the Jordan and LeBron debate. I'm kind of like we're splitting hairs on who was right or wrong. Here, James, I do agree with some of what you said. Like it's a little bit weak on each side, but I will say this: I don't think LeBron having a feeling about maybe how his son was being spoken about in the media is a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
If we had a child under that, and here's the thing. So if you step back and listen to the way Stephen A. said it, I heard a father, I didn't hear an athlete. And he also said, if it was my children in the spotlight, man, I probably would have some choice words too. And so if we step back and think about it, like LeBron had no cover when he came out as the chosen one. I guarantee you when his doc drop, there's going to be some stuff that we going to hear that some people have said about him, done to him, tried to do to his family, that we going to be like, there's no way a human being tried to do that. And it's just that he been taking bullets so long, he don't. And what he did was he built his life to be somewhat bulletproof until he had a son named Bronny that wanted to go to the league.
Yeah.
Right? And so for me, I'm like, okay, from the beginning of what Stephen A. said, all right, I got it. I think where I found it, where it could have deadened the entire conversation, was somebody not holding up a camera behind Richard Jefferson and recording him and LeBron's conversation. That part right there is weak to me.
That's society.
Because
That's just folks out there. Again, that's the TMZ. That's what
so
that is.
that's where I go, okay, the person holding the phone or whatever that device was that recorded that moment, to me, you clearly have no moral obligations or no compass to go, this was not worth this was not a moment that should have been recorded that I'm passing off to the rest of the media world to start picking apart. Because guess what? It got back to Stephen A. So when I heard, and I haven't listened to his sit down yet, but I heard some of the clips. And so what I'm hearing is Stephen A said, I heard a father. What I'm hearing is from Stephen A's response after seeing that second video was like, now he's talking from a man from New York. Now you testing my gangster. Right? Like, okay, first I understood you was coming at me like a father because of your son. Cool. But now it's something else? Hold on, player. Like, let's keep it all the way a buck. And so unfortunately, it's a cobra and a python sitting there, and it's stuff that's happening, and the media and other people are throwing other things in there to agitate the conversation. That's what's weak to me.
That's to create a narrative. But I'm saying, like you said, there's a cobra and python in the ditch. That cobra and python should have been thrown in the bag where nobody can see it and throw it in the back. I'm saying that whole situation should have been handled outside. Yes. LeBron knows people are filming him all day. That wasn't the only camera.
He has people there filming him.
There's other people filming it too. I'm saying LeBron, and I know he's smart. We know he ain't dumb. He should have been like, hold on, I need to holler at him in the tunnel where there's nobody that can really see it.
Can I give y'all a perspective and y'all tell me what y'all think?
Come on.
Okay.
LeBron is one of the most efficient shooters on the planet at his age.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I think LeBron took a calculated risk. Here's what I think. LeBron realized the number one man in all of sports media, if I get at him, nobody else will dare.
Okay, that's a personal calculated risk, but the optics show outside looking in, nobody knows about basketball. One big black man yelling at a small black man.
I agree.
Yep,
I agree. But when I step back and look at it, I'm like, he can't go to Pat McAfee. He can't call every single person that said something crazy. But you know what I can do? I can get the top dog, and as long as everybody see how I talk to that top dog, I guarantee you, everybody else's lips will be silent.
The day after he signs his contract.
My argument with that, if he took that top dog from that and did it in the tunnel, the story's gonna come out regardless. Hey, LeBron had a conversation with me, like the same thing about LeBron. It's gonna come out regardless. It's gonna be a little bit different, but it's gonna come out regardless. So I'm saying again, we don't have owner of Microsoft yelling at one of his employees in front of everybody. It don't work that way.
Right.
Because the optics are different. You can't do that. So LeBron, being the superstar he is, should have known, like, let me take him behind closed and let me tell him exactly how I feel about the situation. Hey man, all dirty laundry don't need to be aired out. Some of it needs to stay hidden away. So if he had, and at that point, they could have aired out all the issues with Bronny and whatever other issues people were talking about. They could have had that in a private conversation. So when are we as successful African Americans in the entertainment industry gonna take our personal business offline so everybody can do it? We do it in rap game, we do it in hip hop all the damn time, and we see how it comes out. Why are we not taking our personal beefs that we out in the back room and having real conversations about it to resolve it? Because the bottom line is they are impressionable to youth, and it's not doing this. And we're further back than we were than going forward with all the technology we got from our youth. We're not going to college as much no more. We're not as skilled no more. We're not getting opportunities no more, and we're about to go into damn recession. And we're talking about? Kids know more rap lyrics than they know about Martin Luther King. I have a dream speaking. So we need to do bottom line, we need to do better. We need to have better optics. We need to be better in front of people. And if you have a problem with somebody, take it behind doors and handle it so these media people don't expose us and exploit us to no end to just get clicks and likes.
Should there be some Should there be some repercussions for this? Like Marvin, should
Nah, I think
LeBron
they should
or
just go
Steven
their
be
separate
fined?
ways. Nah, we
I don't
cool.
think
I'm,
so.
I'm done. I ain't gonna talk about it no
I
more.
don't think so.
And you keep doing your thing.
So what said is done is done. Man to man, okay, it didn't look good. We
done.
did what we did, but hey, let's squash it now.
And I'm gonna tell you why it needs to be squashed now.
Okay.
2 big moments in the NBA that have made a big blemish on commentators and players. And they both involve one person, Stephen A. Smith. Kevin Durant, when he left to go to Golden State.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big problem.
Truly, yep.
And Stephen A. and Kyrie Irving. And that got so bad that they almost had to freaking, that got rough. That was about to be the blows.
Yeah.
And the daddy had to step in. Right? So my point is, that's why it needs to stop. Because especially when you got your crew talking, and none of the people in the crew are thinking about the optics of them acting crazy. So you have to deaden it now, because we already had the situation with with Stephen A. and Kyrie. We already had a problem with Kevin Durant and Stephen A. And here's the other part that makes all of that bad. Well, now the what do you want to call it? The guy that's coming in the door who starts to be as red hot as Stephen A. was when he came in, with their own way, their own view of things, the way they get things done. You might make it twice as hard now, because people don't want to, there's not, you see these articles and these conversations that these players don't want to talk to the media per se.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's that they don't want to talk to the media. What they're tired of is the version of the narrative that is painted when it is behind closed doors. What they're tired of is people saying, okay, now I know I talked to you about that situation. You used that situation to make your name look good, added a little bit of color dusting, and made it sound like something bigger than what it was. No, I don't want to talk to you no more.
Right.
Now, granted, I don't believe Stephen A. ever does that. I think what Stephen A. does is Stephen A. I think he has 2 problems. One, he's so focused on all the other parts of being an athlete and trying to use his platform, which I think is fair, to speak to the athletes, to say, look, man, you got to make it better for the next guy. Look, this doesn't work well. Hey, you can't be over here doing this. Hey, there's this. I get that. I think he should. But the second problem he has is, man, these players done messed around and they own everything. He's using his platform with people who don't have to. They have their own community, their own following, their own brand, their own. Back when, could you imagine the Stephen A. Smith today, back when they didn't have control of their narrative? He would be bigger than God to the NBA. He's not that anymore. So in some regards, I feel like sometimes the way he goes off, it's almost like he's trying to fight for relevance.
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely.
You don't have to do that.
Say that again. That's perfect, Tony. I was waiting for something like that to come up so I can put this statement up right here. Stephen A. got his position because we missed.
I saw that. Yep.
Stuart Scott.
Absolutely. But wait.
Go ahead.
Pause though. Pause for a second. He said that he used his platform to gain relevance, right? That's what you just said, right? I want to make sure I got you right.
Yeah, I was saying to maintain his relevance.
What's wrong with that? That's the question. What is wrong with it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the issue is, remember, right now, do y'all know right now, I think, James, I told you about this. Y'all do know that on the NBA YouTube channel, I don't have to watch a full game. They got 10 minutes broken down, less than an hour after the game, that I can watch it. What's my point? My point is, nobody's listening to all context from Stephen A. They grab a clip and then they homeboy feed it to him. And then the media creates another story and make it sound like something else. So by the time there's actual conversation, it done got so far out of the realm. And that's how I feel about the Bronny situation. I don't believe that Stephen A. was getting on the media and talking about Bronny's character. What Stephen A. has always said is, LeBron, when you made a statement before he even declared for the league that he's better than half the players, man, you putting a target on this young man back that he don't need. Well, he's your son. He already got a target. You didn't need to add any fuel.
This is where I have a problem with that. And I'm going to tell you what my problem is. Why is it a problem when Stephen A. Smith does that to LeBron and criticize him when the freaking Mannings are doing that to their little brother or cousin or nephew that's playing that, and we hear nothing about Pat McAfee who criticizes them and does none of that. So my question is, why do we have this problem in the African-American community or minority community when it's commentating on black, whether it's positive or negative? There's a big old issue that's going on where they do the exact same thing over in their community, but there's no problem. I've seen the Mannings on Pat McAfee's show 100,000 damn times, and they're cool with it. And he has negative criticism about their nephew that's playing on Texas. So tell me why there's a difference. I have a hard time understanding that difference. I'm defending Stephen A. from the Smith because he does a different. He's a part of sports, but he's not a player, so it's kind of different. And then again, also we're taking making a big narrative about millionaires. Bronny's a millionaire. He's a freaking millionaire now.
Yep.
So accept the criticism being a damn millionaire. That's what happens when you become a millionaire and famous. You have to accept some of the negative criticism. Period. Yeah. LeBron is a father. Defend your son as much as all you want. But if he's just talking about his skill set, that should be no problem. I'll be like, don't cross the line and talk about my son personally. Period. That's cool. That's a conversation. But that's not a conversation to have in front of millions of people. That's a conversation you have either over dinner or behind closed doors. So there's where this whole thing is bad because it's in front of everybody. I don't have a problem with the conversation. I don't have a problem with you checking him. I don't have a problem with you talking to him about whatever you want, but you do that behind closed doors. I don't understand why we got to air it out in public to get these kind of reactions and have these kind of discussions when it's unnecessary, when on the other side, who we're emulating because they're great businessmen and all that, they never do it. And we never see it. And the business comes on, and we don't know, and everything's moved smoothly, and there's no negative back and forth, and there's no division amongst who likes who and who doesn't. It moves smoothly. Right now, we have a division.
What's interesting about you saying that, so let's think about this for a second. Jerry Jones and his son, Steven.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We ain't heard nothing.
Nothing. And you know there's turmoil in that house at that dinner table.
you know it's some problems over there, right?
Yeah.
Like that house on fire, and he's still walking out to everything cool. No, it's not, brother. Your house is burning, right?
Yeah.
To your point about the Mannings, I'm just thinking like through a lot of these family entities that are huge. I would imagine the owners of these sports teams get into it all the time with they family.
All day, every day. Absolutely, yes.
The Jeannie and her late dad, right? I would imagine there was hell to pay when them sons found out that Jeannie was going to run the doggone company after they dad died. And I know they was looking like, wait a minute, what?
Why she get it? What happened to me?
Right, why
I thought
she
I was
second, right?
So there was someone else was second in line too.
That is sexist, and yes, that is, yeah. But my point is that we didn't hear about that in the media.
No.
To your point.
Yeah.
We don't hear those family feuds. And I agree with you, and I think the issue is us. I don't think it's, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. We also get agitated by people who know how to push our buttons as a culture. So, what do I mean?
Go down that road. Because we educating tonight, folks. Yeah, go down that road.
There are puppeteers who know that black people like negativity.
Yes.
So you know what we're going to do? We're going to leverage everything to our power to keep them infighting so that they're not focused on what's going on over here.
Yeah,
they're not focused on ownership. They're not focused on, in fact, when I say not even focused on ownership, there's a gentleman that y'all probably have never even knew is now an owner, and I'm going to pull it up. He's an owner of the Las Vegas Raiders now. And because people don't be paying attention, this gentleman has quietly done his job, played in the NFL for a number of years, got moved around after he left, and left the Patriots, in fact, and he decided, I want ownership. And you know what he chose not to do? Get into the media. His name is Richard Seymour from the Patriots.
Yeah.
He is now
the defensive end. Yep.
an owner of the Raiders. You know what's interesting about his path to the Raiders? When that brother finished, you ain't hear a word, a peep. You didn't know anything. That brother even made it to the Hall of Fame. He showed up, did his thing, and walked backwards. And recently he was on the pivot and he was telling his story. And if y'all go listen to that interview, all I heard was he did the Magic Johnson move. Unfortunately, Magic Johnson was Magic Johnson, so he was in the public eye. But Magic Johnson, remember, when he was getting his business information, who is he getting it from? Dr. Buss.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't hang out with the players after the games. In the summertime, he wasn't doing all that crazy stuff. He was over at Dr. Buss' house. He flying around with Dr. Buss, to the point that there are stories that people hated Magic Johnson because they felt like, man, you over here just rubbing shoulders with the man. We over here trying to be a team. And he was like, I don't care. I got to worry about my life after this thing is over, right? and so Richard Seymour did the same thing. Richard Seymour played, kicked butt, and took names. Got to the Hall of Fame. You ain't heard nothing from this man, and he been out of the league 8, 9 years, almost. Maybe, am I about right?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, he started with the Raiders 2009, played for Patriots in 2001. So yeah, he's been out for a minute. Yeah.
So my whole point is that, listen, we have people who know how to agitate our culture so that every negative story keeps us from the narratives keep us from focusing on the larger goal, right? So I do think LeBron and Stephen A. at some point got to find a way to make amends. I do think LeBron and Stephen A. got to be like, they got to find something to do after LeBron leaves. I don't care if LeBron gives him the first interview, right? But they got to do something. Y'all remember when Shaq and Kobe finally sat down?
Yes.
Right?
That was good. That was good for the culture right there too, because we felt that from both sides and we were torn. So that's
I mean, but we need to quit having these makeup stories. We shouldn't have to have makeup stories like that. It should be. We should move smoothly, man. We need to tread the same way successful people tread. Successful businessmen, they argue all the time, but they don't argue in front of the public eye. These are two successful men in their career. They both know better. We got to have this conversation behind closed doors because we can't have all these people in our business seeing what's going on. That's my bottom line.
That's a lesson for us, though. Like, I'm saying, even though we ain't, killing it right now, right? There's a part of our own personal worlds, all of us, where we gotta look at this situation and go, I gotta learn how to keep a level head, or as Kendrick Perkins would say, I gotta keep a cool booty, even if something is rivaling me up the wall, right? I gotta find a way to not react. I gotta find a way to respond.
That's right? True, and I agree with that 100%. But also, the people that are in the power of knowing they know better, they have to be able to move differently because it's this bottom line. That footage, and there's a couple other footage we talk about. We talk about the Draymond situation where they showed him punching Poole. So those footages,
can't come back.
They're exploiting us to no end to get likes, clicks, and everything. And once you hit that million clicks, YouTube starts cutting that check for everybody. So the bottom line is,
and that's why I said we have agitators who know our culture, so they'll just keep spinning the narrative. It's the reason why I hate when people like Draymond, even though, yes, he makes some boneheaded decisions at times. What I hate, though, is, what's going to be impacted the most? Him getting to the Hall of Fame.
Yes. Yeah. But
because they're going to use that as a reason.
But basketball-wise, his skill on the court, he deserves that. Your off-the-court antics or those things is what's drawing you that attention. And I don't know if he draws attention personally. I know that was his personal. I'm just saying that camera exploits us to no end. But we don't. We as professional African American males in the sports world are not making the right decisions in those moments. You're not taking the time to think to make those right decisions. We're just reacting. This is not the rap game. We ain't in hip hop no more. You're dealing with $1 billion, $1 million moves on that entity. You can't just react any way you want to. And if somebody doesn't you don't like what somebody said about you, you need to go ahead and drive it and do it behind closed doors. Because the bottom line of it, you're so impressionable to youth, and so impressionable to these upcoming kids that are going on. It's going to be a problem because if they use that behavior, guess what? Those billionaires are going to start cutting them out of the mix because they don't need that no more.
All right. So let me ask you this.
Like
let me ask you this, and we can continue this conversation because I think this falls into what this other topic that I wanted to get into. If we have the right folks, the right people who are prominent in African American culture as well, that are out there helping youngsters, especially helping young athletes. The Master P situation. Master P out there now, named president of basketball operations at New Orleans. At New Orleans,
Yep.
is he the right kind of person to be in that room, helping to nurture those young athletes? I'm already up in the game. I don't need to be here. Listen, I am who I am, right? Make them say all that. Mm-hmm. Is he the right person that these kids will listen to over at this school now that he's in that prominent role as president of basketball operations? Hopefully there's a connection between what we were talking about and this. I didn't throw y'all off.
No, me, it's more of a publicity for the University of New Orleans. Master P doesn't have an experience being a GM basketball game. So to me, there's that one riff right there. Two, can he be successful at it? Absolutely. He's shown to be agile and be able to maneuver and adapt and make business successful. But on the outside looking in right now, I don't think he's a qualified person to do it. That's more of a publicity to get people to go to New Orleans and kids to go to New Orleans and keep the local talent that's there in New Orleans to play basketball there to be around him. Let's keep it real. These kids don't know who Master P is. We do. They don't know who he is. They know he might have been a rapper and all that stuff, but that's it. That's as far as the optic goes. Their parents may know who he is. They don't know who he is. So he's not the real one that's doing it. I think it's great optics for the University of New Orleans. Get a guy that's a mogul, millionaire. He's going to be able to attract endorsements, not per se attract the talent, but he will be able to attract endorsements. He'll be able to bring rappers to the game to watch the games when they're there, to bring some more visuals, some more eye candy over there. So I think it's a great move if you're looking for publicity and make the school more popular. Does it make the school more successful from a basketball standpoint?
Yeah.
That is to be determined, in my opinion.
Chris, before you answer, I want to pivot and I want to add this one in. So I want you to respond to this one. If it's not Master P, how about Stephen Curry, assistant GM at his alma mater at Davidson? He played the game. He's playing the game. He can shoot from the weight room and still make the shot. He garners that respect. So Master P, OG rapper, we grew up on. We know hasn't actually been on. He tried to play. I think he played in like the All-Star or the celebrity games a couple of times. He can shoot a little bit. We got Stephen Curry now.
So
GM
I think
at his alma mater.
Two things can be true at the same time. That's what I think. I think the Steph Curry thing obviously makes sense because he played basketball. Mm-hmm. So he has a relevancy, and he is, not was. He is darn good at it. His brand is foolish. But one of the things that we also have to remember is that because he's very quiet, you have to watch what he does because he ain't going to say it. All he's doing is setting up, I'm getting ready to leave in the NBA.
Yes.
That's all he's doing.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
He's probably going to be the quietest, most impactful NBA player to ever play the game when he leaves.
So my question, the kids know who Stephen Curry is, so he's going to attract recruits. He's going to attract recruits because they know who he is. He's changed the way the NBA is played in the last 10 years, since he's been in the league. So with that being said, Davidson can become a powerhouse now that he's there because people know him. Master P, I'm sorry, these generations doesn't really know who he is. They don't. He doesn't have a label no more. He doesn't do any of those things. They don't really know who he is. It's great for New Orleans because New Orleans knows who he is. The state of Louisiana because he's had such an impact there. But it doesn't boastful for national recruits like that. Stephen Curry's going to boast.
I
Well, and also they give
so
him money too. So I got that highlighter right here what Steph and his wife are doing. So go ahead, Chris.
So I will say though, that's why I said two things can be true at the same time. I think the Masterpiece situation, Masterpiece trying to use the Deion Sanders blueprint at a place that matters to him.
That's what Tony was saying too. Yeah,
New Orleans matters to him, right?
Yes.
And so if they open a door, right, like, hey man, we could work something out. I think it can work. It's just a different path to make it work.
Yes.
He comes from, I'm 100% entrepreneur. I went from drugs to slanging tapes to slanging rap to slanging other people's raps
say he the ice
to
cream
building
man.
up
Oh,
my
have
own.
mercy. Yeah.
So he's not coming from it from like, yeah, I dropped 20 and 30 in my freshman year and everybody was looking at me. He's looking at it from the business side and going, wait a second. There's an opportunity in New Orleans for me to be able to not only come over here, build some brand recognition. I might not have it, but who phone number he can't get.
That's what I'm saying. I think that
right?
from that standpoint, you're right. You're absolutely. He's going to be a great brand ambassador, a great bringing eyes to New Orleans. He's going to be wonderful.
So think about it, and think about it from this standpoint. He could win tremendously because New Orleans has the same type of grasp on America and the world like living in LA or living in Miami. You get to tell people, yo man, you can come down here and be in the mecca of all types of cool stuff. If you in the culture, wherever you from, you could love New Orleans. And what does that do? To your point, these companies now want to start being down. And think about what NIL is now. Granted, I get that, like, you know, the issues with NIL are still not worked out. It's in its infancy, so we'll figure out when it'll mature. We'll probably be long gone before it becomes this wonderful thing. But think about from Masterpiece's perspective. You know how many companies I can call right now and just get NIL money and be able to offer culture, be able to offer a city, be able to offer, I can uplift the facilities around here. Again, it's the Deion. I'm taking the Deion blueprint, but I'm a businessman and I can leverage some of what he's done, and I can leverage Deion to get done what I would like to do here. Remember, they just moved George to Tennessee
to Bowling Green University.
Bowling Green.
Right. But wait, before you pause, you're right on every aspect except it will run out if you're not winning.
I agree.
So if he can't build a team to be successful, all that goes out the window. It just does. Steph Curry, and my argument with Steph Curry is he has all those same connections, all those same things, and all the kids know who he is. So they're gonna be like, I want to go play for Steph. So
that brother got Silicon Valley.
Yeah. So there's where my difference is between. That's why I say Master P is it's a great brand for New Orleans. I have no doubt rappers to be in the stand. All that's great to give them a new brand, to give them a boost and do all the things like you said. But if he can't attract the right players to be successful, mind you, he's competing with LSU for the other best players in that state, which I don't think he's going to beat them out. You're competing with LSU, you're competing with Xavier, you're competing with Tulane for the smart kids. You got a lot of competition to get over with. Davidson.
Wait. But I want you to think about something. The game is shifting. So it might sound like today he can't compete. What happens when, using the Deion Sanders effect, you mess around and get a top tier recruit who might have? What happens? Think about this for a second. See, when you go to a bottom of the barrel team, anything you do is going to make the news. What do I mean? What happens if he's able to keep a lot of the New Orleans talent in New Orleans, and they come to that school. And
That's
let's
what I
just
said.
say,
I said
like
it.
Appalachian
Yeah.
State did several years ago to Michigan, they mess around and go beat somebody. And they mess around and have a darling season. And meaning in their conference, they become the supernova hot thing, not because they won a bunch of games, but they just so happen to be making splashes in the right directions. And so my point is, and here's the other thing, let's not act like Master P don't know how to build a team. We forgot about No Limit.
Oh no, I have no doubt he can do it in the music industry again. I do have doubts in the athletic world because it's different. Obviously, let's be honest. Let's keep it real. New Orleans doesn't have the money to offer a kid like LSU does. They don't. They cannot compete NIL wise. There's no way. Their alumni is nowhere near as strong as the LSU. So right there, you're going to lose out on a lot of top talent based on NIL alone if they were looking for a payday. Mind you, we got the Ole Misses and all them right next door, and we got the Texases right to the other side of us that's going down and pays a lot of money. So for him, I have to be able to build a great team to make splashes, to your quote, on basically not so great of a budget, right? I got maybe a $500,000 budget where these guys got $3 million. Whole different ball game where you offer money for the top players. Can he do it? I pray that he does. I hope Master P is very successful in doing it because he's been successful with a lot of other businesses. But me looking from the outside in, I don't know if you have the eye to bring in the right talent to make a successful team in just the University of New Orleans. I think it's great for optics. I think you're going to bring fans. I think you're going to get a lot of hype around the program that's going around. You're going to bring money to it, the Deion effect. You're going to definitely bring money because you're Master P. But that money will run dry or run real low if you're not winning. Winning is the other caveat. The difference between all them, Deion won the Division I AA championship.
I agree.
At HBCU. He went to Colorado, beat Baylor on the first game he played, even though they had a bad season. Turned it around this year and got to a bowl game. Winning trumps all that. You got to be able to win and do that at the same time. So with him, Master P is going to have to be able to win if he wants to really cultivate it and be the most successful program it can possibly be.
And that's why I said, if you look, so again, let's do this. A year from now, we're going to look at the basketball schedule for that team. Most of them teams we probably don't even know nothing about. And it's fine. Yep. We don't have to know. We literally do not have to know. If that man mess around and improve their record
just like Deion did
a little bit, this dude, they will crown him king. And guess what else happens? See, here's the other part that I think that maybe we may not understand yet, but I hope I am true in this. The more we get opportunities, it happens for my white brothers and sisters all the time where they get to go to a company and be the CEO and they get the opportunities to turn companies around all the time. They get an opportunity to go jump into a company and it can go bad and they get fired. 2 months later, they add another company.
With a golden parachute from the other one.
And then it doesn't work out and they get fired. And then they go to another. My point is that my white brothers and sisters always get more and more opportunities to go turn something around until one day it finally pops and they like, oh yeah, they the man. It's like, well, yeah, you forgot about them 6 companies I got fired for before I made this work, right? And so my point is, I think, and what my hope is, that these opportunities that the Eddie Georges of the world are getting, please do not forget about that bad man, Ed Reed. Jesus Christ. He was amazing. But he's getting opportunities. You see
Marshall Faulk out there too.
At Norfolk State. My point is I hope these institutions give them the opportunities and time to turn these programs around to be whatever they're going to be. Don't fire us in the first year or the first 6 months or because we go 0-6. Don't do that. Give brothers and sisters who look like me. And yes, I am putting the emphasis on sisters because I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I think we are screwing up by not having head female coaches. I think we are screwing up a lot, by the way. That we do what Greg Popovich did in San Antonio was not by accident. That's
why we love Pop so much. That's literally why. That's why we love Pop so much. Yep.
He He had women on his roster, and it's not by coincidence.
Yes,
Look
sir.
where the WNBA is right now. Look what's going on. So I'm just saying, in football, there need to be other women that are allowed to be able to coach, because women love football too. Let's not act like dudes are the only ones that love football, right? The Raiders got a female coordinator. The LA Rams got this chick that's she's super dope. She does a lot of their physical conditioning and stuff. When the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they got a girl that does a ton of stuff for them. We need to see that, but that's a soapbox. That's a whole nother show. That wasn't a show. But my point is that these organizations got to give us time to turn organizations around. It's not gonna happen day one. We're not gonna be Appalachian. And think about it, you ain't heard of Appalachian since they won that doggone game. They ain't been.
I follow Appalachian State, so I know about it. But they haven't had no big success since then.
I don't have no jersey.
I think you're right. We need time. We do need time.
Yeah.
But I'll flip it on the other side. From them now being entities of business, these schools now, time is going to be limited for a lot of people, especially, unfortunately, for us. We're under scrutiny. Time is going to be limited for us to be able to turn it around. Because if you can't turn it around, there's so much money being invested by donors and NIL and everything. Steph Curry don't have to worry because Davidson there's no expectations. Master P probably don't have to worry because there's very low expectations. But as you said, these other coaches, like I'm gonna tell you right now, if Eddie George doesn't turn that program around in 3 to 4 years, he will be terminated.
Biggest thing ever. It would be the greatest thing ever.
If he can't turn it around,
Michael Vick turn around Norfolk State, game over.
It's gonna be huge. If Deshaun Jackson can turn around Delaware State, it's gonna be an opportunity there for everybody. I've been pushing the kid on the show. I've been telling him he needs to go coach at an HBCU. I've been saying, man, bro, go get your name aligned with an HBCU and take over because you have the qualifications. But my problem is our entryway into at least football is the HBCU way to get into the bigger programs. Deion paved that way undoubtedly. Bigger schools, Power 5, I'm telling you right now, the person that's going to pave the way is going to be Freeman from Notre Dame. His blueprint is going to be the one everybody's going to have to follow. And if you don't follow that and have success within 3 years, guess what? Your ass is going to be fired.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it.
Well, let me ask y'all this. Because here's the where the muddy waters are. I think because I listen, I grew up in Florida. So I grew up on Bobby Bowden, Steve Spurrier, Billy Donovan. I'm a year removed from Javon Curse, one of the greatest doggone linebackers that play in high school down in Florida. Like I grew up around Charlie Ward, and I grew up around like crazy, but they were SEC people, right? We don't have that stuff no more. It's just moving around and money. Here's my question to y'all. As these private equity firms start jumping into these sports because they want the bread and they want do you believe that the money that these private equity firms are starting to dole at the sport is helping or hurting the sport itself long term?
Man, we ain't got that much time. You can't just stay out there.
The short answer of that is private equity firms will control what happens in college football, at least in the Power 5 wrestling.
In the short term.
Yeah, is it good or bad? To be determined. But let's be honest with you. It's going to be college players are not professional players at this point now. They're always on TV. They're just as big as pros guys are. They're professional players not getting as much money yet, but it's coming. They're pros. The one thing that I do see that's going to be a problem with everything, when those private firms start to take over, if they do not get a players association and get a collective bargaining agreement, we're going to have problems. Because you know what's going to happen? That star player that wants money is going to say, you know what? We're playing against our rival this week. It's going to be 7 million viewers. I'm sitting out until you pay me.
You want me to run up and down the field, catch a touchdown?
Yep.
I'm gonna need to see some paper for that.
Yep. So if they get a collective bargain, and that protects the little guy too. The guy that's not playing on the bench, that means he gets a dividend and some money too. But they're gonna have to start paying into a players' union. Shout out to Dartmouth University because those are the guys that came up with it and they shut it down.
Yep.
There needs to be a collective bargaining and a union for the players and union reps for the players of college football now, especially in the Power 5. And that means not only just football, all sports. Every last one of them.
This is why I believe we need to go overseas and study athletes overseas, because remember in 16, athletes overseas can go pro.
Yep.
So we need to go over there and study how in the world are they pulling this off, because it's working, number one. And how do we know that? Just look at the NBA. You got jokers that come over here and they be busting tail.
Mm-hmm.
They be busting tail.
They've already been in the league for 4 or 5 years.
Nobody.
Yep.
They don't fear nobody when they come to the NBA.
That's how Luka was.
It was going on long
That's
before.
how Joker was.
Thank you, Greg Popovich, and I hope he gets better. But he was the reason for that. Do you realize, you have to think about what the Spurs actually were? They were not an NBA American team ever. They were
France,
a bunch
was
of
Spain,
international dudes.
Virgin Islands, all the players were foreign players.
Everybody was foreign, and they were busting behind.
Tony Parker night. From France. Yeah, you're right.
Dude,
Ginobili. Yep.
I mean, come on, man. But guess what? The program, the vein to getting them there was the fact that Popovich was smart enough to go, wait a second, overseas they can be pro already. That means they've been working on their game for a very long time. I don't have to get this kid. Cooper Flags don't show up every day, right? So I don't have to wait until somebody comes out the draft for me to go grab him. You know what I can do? Man, I just go get this kid right now, right?
That sounds like the portal right now. That sounds like the NCAA portal. That's all that is. NCAA portal.
Thank you.
But back to your original question. Back to your question about college, about how it's going to affect colleges with these corporations. To protect themselves, players need to start a union. They're going to have to, because the bottom line, if a corporation controls you, guess what? They can hire and fire you anytime they want. Guess what? I don't like James Hicks being our quarterback for whatever reason. I know we're paying him this much, but guess what? This freshman kid, we're going to pay him $3 million and he needs to start. So now, that's the part what I don't like about GMs and all this now being in college, because now there's somebody that trumps the head coaches and his staff's ability based on money.
Agreed.
Period. It's based on money, because bottom line, we're paying this kid $4 million and he needs to see the field. He has to get on the field.
Pitino just said recently.
What's that?
Did y'all hear Rick Pitino's comments about this kind of stuff recently?
No, I didn't watch it.
So Rick Pitino, they were asking him about, recruiting. And he said, yeah, we don't recruit high school players no more.
No.
I didn't know. I did see that. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to deal with that.
And I get it. I understand. I understand his point. So now you got to start asking yourself, okay, so I'm going to tell you, okay, so one other little piece of seasoning we need to throw in this conversation about PE firms. That's why I believe the death of collegiate sports is going to be near, because you also have gambling involved. And if any of y'all have not yet seen the movie Juice, I'm just gonna ask y'all to take some time, go get educated one night, and watch that. Go watch Jesus Shuttlesworth, and just go see. We've been talking about how gambling impacts us, right? And what could be. I'm telling y'all right now, I think between PE firms and gambling, you can forget college basketball, football, soccer, lacrosse, track, badminton.
You speaking small. I think in the next 10 years it's going to be into high school sports. I've said this already on the show. I don't think high school sports will exist.
Oh yeah.
There's no need with clubs that are involved. There's no need to have a high school team no more. And the reason why you don't have high school team, now you eliminate having to provide a field, having to counsel these kids, have to hire a coach, have to have all these kids. You guys just go play club. And I think that's closer than not. And especially when private firms, because like you said, if private firms get involved in college, guess what? The next step is getting involved in high school. Because high schools are making money. Modern Day is making money. IMG is making money. All these big time high schools are making money. So my thing is going to be like, once they start getting the TV time again on ESPN like they would, and it starts to explode, we're going to run into an issue where I don't believe high school sports will be in existence, especially with the basketball realm, because women's and boys basketball is huge in high school. Can you imagine now all you have these super teams that are club teams and they can travel anywhere across the country to be there and somebody's financing it? We're going. That's the world we're going into. So with that being said, high school is going to be eliminated, because if I'm a high school dean or principal, I'm like, why do we even have sports here? All our best players are playing club. We're not making any money. They can just
So
they can
guess
make
what?
it, and I can cut
So
all that fat off, and we can leave that money and hire some more teachers.
I want y'all to go back and think about this for a second. Remember last year in the NBA draft, we had two big splashes that happened. The first one was this alien called Victor Wembanyama. That was a big splash, right? Mm-hmm. But then there was this other one that got a lot of attention, and people was like, wait a minute, how that happened? We had two brothers who were twins that got drafted from a whole nother league. So what stops? Because now, guess what? That brought the stock of that particular league went up like 10 levels after that doggone announcement. Mm-hmm. You got two brothers that came out of that joint, and guess what? They balling in the NBA. Mm-hmm. They ain't no scrubs. They ain't coming here and sitting the bench. Them Amin and his brother, they are
the one from balling. Detroit is balling. The one that said Detroit is balling. He
balling.
Yeah,
So what stops? Think about this. What stops a private equity firm going, okay, BlackRock now invest in BlackRock sponsors, ultimate, the elite, program that, these funnels are going. Because think about it. That's why I'm saying I just think it's going to be a problem, because these private equity firms, they got money and they want to invest in places. Now, they're going to have to change their strategies because the investments they're making is not the same type of turnarounds. But when they can start controlling with their dollars, which they got real money. Yeah, when they can control a whole system, because think about it, they can get into arenas with owners right now in the NBA and the NFL, but they can't control the NBA and the NFL. They can't control the institution, but they can control. They can play around the fringes. When they start being able to control 100% of these other programs that feed, they're the feeder system to the pros, it's over. Let me tell you something. You're going to have a 13-year-old being more financially astute than a 45-year-old person who's been studying finance all their life. Because think about it, from the private equity's perspective, I need my employee to be very well. Oh, come on, man. Seriously. I need my employee to be as good financially and make good moves for us, since we're investing in him or her and they 13 and 14 years old.
Yeah, it's gone. I think the game is about to change.
It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a definite problem. And to your point, Montel, I'm scared because it's already hard enough. Shout out to our teachers. It's already hard enough on them. It's hard. I have talked to too many teachers who just quit just because they can't take it no more. It's not that they don't love what they do. They just quit because they're not teaching no more, right? And so when you have these moments and these kind of flashes, now we got private equity jumping in the game, all these moves and changes, and everybody thinking their child gonna be the next LeBron or the next D Wade or the next Kobe, and you have the Mamba program. You got Sierra Cannon. Sierra Cannon ain't no school. Stop all that. You were not there for your education. Oak Hill is not a school. You were not there for your education. PG County, the entire county, ain't thinking about school and your education. You know what they're thinking about? Man, we need another doggone Kobe to come out of here. We need another Kevin Durant. We got to build some more. We got to put together a pipeline. That's what they thinking.
That's what they doing.
Guess who else
That's literally what they doing.
Pipeline and they deal flow. Guess who else spends more time thinking about pipeline and deal flow than anybody else? Private equity. That's all they care about.
My God. You mentioned BlackRock too. Y'all
private schools are private equity, right? Let's be honest. Private schools are private equity.
Yeah.
So it's private equity. It's just private equity, man. And again, now, is it wrong? I can't say that. I just would say it's just a phase that we're in. And who knows? Again, we ain't going to be here long enough to know the full end. But I'm just saying it's so muddy right now that I think the product ultimately, 10 years from now, let's watch the product of what's on the NBA floor. I don't think it's going to be that great. I think we're gonna be in trouble because 10 years from now, all of your principal coaches will be retired. All the new blood is starting to walk in, and then behind them are all stat people, and that's all they care about: analytics. They ain't thinking about that person getting better. They ain't thinking about that person actually having a. I heard Kevin Garnett. Shout out to Kevin Garnett in the KG Certified show. He was going off about the fact that Paul Pierce one time went to an NBA workout. They were at a facility. He didn't name the team, but he said, I walked in and they weren't working on their handles. You know what they were working on? Everybody had to go down and back the entire length of the court doing a Euro step with no basketball.
Wow.
No cones. No. Hey, we're going to do a 3-man weave. Hey, we're going to do a boxing one. Hey, we're going to run this. Nope. Mm-mm. So the product is, man, it's going to be bad. People don't care no more about the game itself, the product that you're actually putting out on the court. You don't care. LaMelo, I'm sorry. Listen, okay, I'm going to say this.
This man got something to say, y'all. This man got something to say.
And I'm sorry. I'm sure one day when your show blows up, James, somebody's going to pull up this tape and they're going to be like, you had this on it. Listen, man, at this point, we just got to be honest. I live in Charlotte, okay? First of all, the Hornets suck. They have sucked for many years, and I've always said that about the NBA. LaMelo getting noticed because he made a song, not because he's actually good at basketball. He's getting noticed because of his rap that he put on his Cybertruck. He's getting noticed because he's out there pushing his music and doing his thing. And while I'm not mad at you, your team is at the bottom of the barrel, only second to the Wizards.
My God.
And in my mind, I'm like, look, dude, I'm not saying he can't play. Please do not. I know he can play. He wouldn't have made the NBA if he couldn't. But my God, there are too many players who are in the NBA and they don't care nothing about the actual game. They care about that endorsement. They care about looking good on the sideline. And guess a lot of these players don't even play in the beginning of the year, and they be hurt coming into the beginning of the year. How? How you do that? How? How you not in shape? What happened? What's going on? Like, what are you doing? And so that's why I'm saying the product is gonna be bad. Again, Melo can play basketball. I get it. But you can't play the way you should be able to play. As tall, athletic, and gifted as God gave you, brother, you should be rivaling Jason Tatum right now, and you're not. It ain't even close, y'all games. Ain't even close.
This man throwing.
I'll put everything on that. If you line both of them up, Jason Tatum is 10 times better than that brother.
Truth.
If we need to get a bucket, who am I relying on? I'm relying on Tatum all day long. I don't care what nobody say.
That's true.
I'm relying on Tatum.
Lord have mercy.
And so I'm saying, think about it. You don't now, and Tatum is kind of a recluse. He go play ball and he do his thing. He go back to home with his family. So
he go back and hang out with his son. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all he want to do. He ain't thinking about all that other stuff. He playing basketball and going to be home. But my point is that like these kids don't care. They don't put time into the craft, and it shows up every night. Because they can't even if they get ISO'd on somebody, they can't do nothing. They don't have anything. They don't have a bag. That's why Kyrie Irving looks like a Greek god out there. And it's like, well, you know how many Kyrie Irvings was available like early 2000s? You know how many people that actually had a handle back then? Everybody had a handle. Every night you got on the court, somebody you had to deal with. Yeah. How many people got a handle right now? You could probably name on one hand. Oh, but they got $200 million though in the bank.
My goodness!
All right, I'm done.
And they go see Jacob the jeweler. Listen, this was what's up right here. Listen, All right, Chris, you have redeemed yourself. All right, we let you go and you went down the path. You have redeemed yourself. We will not change the code on the front door. You can still come on in, and you will be that third wheel on the tricycle here.
Hey, and Cooper Flag don't need to play another game. You got the NBA to worry about, boss. You that man. That's all.
Yeah, Cooper Flag. That's a bad dude.
Don't play no more games. You
that's
done,
man. See, he should play, man. They need him in the tournament.
Well, they need him, but
I know what you're saying. From a personal standpoint, from him as a professional guy, absolutely, you don't play no more games, get healthy, get ready for the league. From a fan standpoint, I would love to see him in the tournament to see what he could do. Yeah. That's what I'm saying from me. If I'm his parent, you don't play. You can't play no more. You done. You shelf.
You're not gonna mess up this money. You're not gonna mess up this money. The ankle is bad.
But hold on.
We'll fix it.
My only difference is like, okay, if I play Duke, how much are you gonna pay me? Because if Duke gonna give me a couple million right now to return back for the tournament, I might play. And say I want to do it for my fans and do it that. You guys got to be honest. Again, we're not. College sports is no longer amateur, where he's not getting any money. Somebody at Duke could be like, look, man, we'll give you. If you can't make it, we're gonna give you a $50 million insurance policy on your ankle. If you can't never make it no more, which you should be already insured right now, my personal bit. But if he's like, if you can't make it or something happens in the NBA, look, we got an insurance policy. Like, we're gonna give you $25 million. You're gonna be rich regardless. So come play for us. Rock out on this Duke uniform and get us a championship.
I think that's a fair compromise.
That's the conversation I think he'd have, and I would love to see him play. But I would love to see him get healthy and go to the league, see what he can do, and make it that way. It's all good. He's a professional athlete right now as it is.
Oh yeah. And he gonna be all right wherever he goes. He gonna be all right.
Shout out to the family, Junior Bridgeman's family. His all of a sudden death. That sucked. Shout out to Junior Bridgeman, man. His family.
Yeah, shout out to Oliver Miller too.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver Miller, ex-Arkansas player, passed away.
That hurt, man.
Great guy, had a great career in Phoenix. Yeah.
Yes.
Won a national championship, right? He won a national championship with Kyle Day and them back in the day. In Arkansas.
Those two hurt, man. That's tough, man. This man just became a billionaire and suddenly passed away. Man, that's tough.
We can't end on that. I mean, yeah, that was tough, and there was a couple of other folks as well. I was watching Shaq talk about the other gentleman as well who we lost. That was a huge effect on the business side, but we did what we had to do. What was that?
It was Junior Bridgman. That's what Shaq was talking about.
Yes, Junior Bridgman. We did what we had to do tonight, fellas, and I'm gonna tell, as always, I'm gonna let you take us home, but I'd be remiss if I didn't at least say OSU, Oregon State University women's basketball.
This dude.
I got to say what I got to say.
Tournament.
Hey, but they won. They won. And they got a trophy. They got some confetti. Shouts out to the Beavers out there for winning the new one, WCC.
Is there a tie here? I'm seeing. Is there something that James is he got a soft spot out here?
Well, listen, my son goes to the school. That's why my son is an Oregon State Beaver there. So and they on the map now. They on the way.
Hey, son, can we get some merch if you see this?
What you need?
Some merch, son.
We can get some merch. We can get some merch.
Throw some merch, man.
Well, see, why are you gonna do that when you ain't gonna shout out your daughter that goes to UCLA and they just beat USC?
I'm trying to bring up the screens here. You let me.
You moving too slow, man. Celebrating Oregon State.
Let me bring up the
UCLA for what they did.
Then I didn't want you to get upset because they beat Juju, right? So I don't want to pick no wounds. So shouts out to the Bruins.
Can we do this, fellas? Can we do this real quick? Pull up that situation, James. Because
which one?
I swear to God, I wish this show. I can't wait till this show gets really big and just blows up and goes crazy, because then we get to travel to games and stuff.
Y'all just keep telling folks. Listen, we already at the Super Bowl. You can come with us too now.
I'm gonna say this name, and I cannot wait to get. I need her jersey now because her stock is Juju Watkins.
Oh, geez,
this woman, yo man, listen. Listen.
I know, because my
dad.
Listen. For the rest of life and eternity, yes, you had Caitlin Clark. That woman is erasing her name right now. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Juju is foolish. Okay, dude, I'm telling you, man. Listen, if you ain't watching the games, you do not understand what this woman is able to do on a court.
Yeah.
She's disrespectful in such a beautiful way. She is
He don't know how he don't know how I talk about Juju.
Yeah, I mean, I give her props too, but
no, you don't. No, you don't.
I'm respectful of the process, and I think that she is phenomenal, and she is the current face of the game. I do.
Yeah.
I'm an OG UConn person, so I'm a Paige Beckers fan.
Okay.
Right,
okay,
but
fair. But
so again, we can lay it all out there, and shout out to UCLA for beating USC. But I do believe Juju is the one right now. Juju is the one right now.
No, Juju will be the. Listen, Juju need a statue right now, boss. I don't care what nobody says.
Oh my God, I'll already give her a statue. She gonna be player of the year,
brother. Listen, that woman is scary. There's nothing like this. No, I'm sorry. Actually, there is. They're just not talking about her a lot. And her name is Flage. And let me tell you something right now.
Nah, she ain't Flage nowhere near Juju.
Yeah, Flage.
No way. Flage is nowhere near Juju. No way. Yeah, you can turn all you want. There ain't nowhere. We could argue that one all day. Flage is nowhere near Juju Watkins. Not even close.
I'm gonna tell you something. Let me tell you something, boss. Let me tell you something. Man, if them two ever were on the same court, so Juju got the quiet dog. Flage got that pit bull ravenous. I'm slobbering at the mouth. I want all the smoke. I want the smoke, the meat, the tender. I want everything because I want.
Okay.
And I'm telling you,
can't shoot. She plays great defense. Flage can't shoot. She can play good defense. Decent defense. She doesn't rebound very well. Huh? Juju can do it all. Flage cannot shoot. All right, do me this. Has Flage scored over 40 points in the game? Nope.
No, she has not. You know why?
Has Juju?
Because they ensure to shut that girl down. That's why she ain't scoring 40.
I'm going to tell you right now. Flage can't get past South Carolina. I mean, not saying that Juju can't. Juju will get her own against South Carolina. Flage gets shut down against South Carolina every year. Every year.
She does.
Every year.
But that's the
Don't compare her to Juju. Flage is dope. Don't get me wrong. She all right rapper. I ain't feeling the rap thing, but she's dope on the back. She's cool on the basketball court. But to compare her to Juju's on a whole different level.
Listen, man, I'm gonna tell you right now. I wish we didn't have these rules in the NBA and the WNBA. Juju should have been playing pro. I don't care what nobody say.
Juju, exactly. So you ain't saying that same conversation about Flossie. So how you gonna say she's the same on the same level?
Listen, man, I think the issue is them two ain't never been. It's the style of play that if they ever met up, it would. I got one question. That would be unreal.
I got one question for you. Switch teams. Flage's on USC. Juju's on LSU. Juju's doing the same exact thing she's doing at SC on LSU. Flage would not be as dominant and wouldn't be carrying them to be the number 2 team in the nation.
I don't know about that, boss.
Come on. Come on, dog.
I don't know.
We'll see in the tournament. The tournament's coming up. We're going to see in the tournament.
Yeah.
We're going to see in the tournament. We're going to see in the tournament because the tournament coming up.
Be a gentleman's bet.
Listen, and guess what? This will be the year that, again, for the third year in a row, women's watch games will be more than the men. Watch and see what I tell you.
Yeah,
guaranteed. Yeah, you ain't said nothing but a thing.
And for all the people that get mad about that, you got a problem.
Yeah.
Because the women's game is off the freaking chain.
Tell them, James, I was way ahead of the game with that.
That's true. That's true, and that is recorded, so that we have that.
Yeah, I got receipts on that one. I'm gonna say that for a minute.
we would talk about. Listen, man. Let's do this. Let's do this because again, I need to come up with another analogy. I'm about to come out with my crack dealer analogy. We gave him a little bit. No, we gave him a lot tonight. We gave y'all 2 8 balls. There go all the endorsements right there. There go the endorsements right there. But we gave you a little bit. We want y'all to come back. And again, like y'all saw in the comment I put out there, if y'all don't like and share and subscribe to this episode, I don't know what else we can bring you. We came with some heat. We went a little bit longer than. I'm gonna send a copy of this to to Ocho and Shannon, and they're gonna be like, yeah, that's how y'all do it.
They need to come on, stop playing. Tell Shannon to come on, open that bag up and bring
Yeah,
your show on. So
we in conversation. We're gonna figure something out. We in conversation. Listen, Mr. Williams, thank you, brother. Anytime, every time. Right? You have your seat is reserved. Your seat is reserved. Montel Allen, take us home, brother. Take us home.
Absolutely. Shout out to Mr. Irvin Fryer, man. Yo, Eagles did it.
Yeah.
I ain't tell you before, but they did it, man. That's a cool brother right there. Seriously, man, like we always say, man, check on your loved ones, man, because we're in the trying times. We really are, man. Check on them loved ones just to see how they doing. Do that check-in. Make sure everybody's good. And, slang knowledge instead of dope. Get comfortable having uncomfortable conversations. We out.
Montel and James, bringing the heat, team no sleep, with champions meet, we're on the mic, taking over the game, no time for rest, no scrambling for fame, talking sports, breaking it down from the court to the field, all around town, we stay up all night, grinding.